The Angus Sire Benchmarking Program has demonstrated that there's great potential to achieve genetic improvement in Angus breeding programs by capitalising on the genetic variation that exists between Angus animals. A recent project undertaken by Angus Australia with funding assistance from the MLA donor company assessed the variation in the average performance of progeny from sires in cohorts 5, 6 and 7 of the ASBP. The project builds on previous work which examined cohorts 1, 2 and 3. To examine this, the project looked at the average performance of the progeny by each of the sires and identified the 5 highest performing sire progeny groups and the 5 lowest performing sire progeny groups for each of the traits. The average of these two groups of progeny were then compared to identify the difference in average progeny performance within each of the cohorts. The progeny of the 5 sires in each cohort with the heaviest progeny at birth were on average 4.4 kilos heavier when born than the progeny from the 5 sires with the lightest progeny at birth, whereas the progeny by the 5 sires in each cohort with the shortest gestation length were born on average 5 days earlier than progeny by the 5 sires with the longest gestation length. Likewise, the daughters by the 5 sires with the shortest days to calving calved on average 25 days earlier than the daughters by the 5 sires with the longest days to calving in each respective cohort. When we examine the growth traits, we see the progeny of the 5 sires in each cohort with the heaviest progeny at weaning were on average 19.9 kilograms heavier than the 5 sires with the lightest progeny at weaning. Similarly, progeny by the 5 sires with the heaviest 400 and 600 day weights were on average 30.6 kilos and 52.3 kilos heavier than the progeny by the 5 sires with the lightest 400 and 600 day weights in each respective cohort. The difference in the net feed intake of progeny from the 5 sires with the lowest net feed intake and the 5 sires with the highest net feed intake across the 3 cohorts of the ASBP was 1.51 kilos per day, meaning the progeny of the most feed efficient sires in each cohort consumed approximately 1.51 kilograms per day less than the 5 least efficient sires at the same weight and rate of weight gain. Across a 200-day feeding program, this equates to 302 kilo difference in the total amount of feed consumed for the same weight and weight gain. When examining carcass composition, the project found the heaviest carcass weight progeny at slaughter had a dressed carcass weight that was on average 46.4 kilos heavier than the progeny of the sires with the lightest carcass weight. Similarly, the eye muscle area was on average 9.4 square centimeters larger, the intermuscular fat 3.8% higher, the rib fat 5.6 millimeters greater, and the rump fat 6.8 millimeters greater, when comparing the average progeny performance of the 5 highest and lowest performing sires for each of these traits in each respective cohort. Finally, for MSA grading performance across cohorts 5, 6 and 7, the progeny of the 5 sires whose progeny achieved the highest MSA index score ranked 2.2 points better than the average progeny performance of the 5 sires whose progeny had the lowest MSA index score. Likewise, the average progeny performance of the 5 sires with the most marbling was on average 147.1 MSA marble score points higher than the 5 sires whose progeny had the least marbling. The average ossification was 17.5 points lower for the progeny of the 5 sires with the least ossification. This project has revealed that there's a significant amount of genetic variation between animals within the Angus population, and this variation presents a lot of opportunity to improve the productivity of Angus beef enterprises by utilising better genetics.